Hello everyone and welcome to the Killsters World of Wrestling here on YouTube, CKTV. I'm with you here for the next while and we're going to be talking about some big topics in the world of wrestling, and we're going to be talking many of these behind me. I've assembled my very own fame here, and a few of the great names in history are on that wall. And as you know, we're missing a few names, maybe you could say, but including the likes of Shawn Michaels, John Cena, the Macho Man, Randy Savage, the Warrior, to name a few, are missing from the wall. But we've got a few big names there as well. So that's just trying to make myself a wee makeshift set for this video for a change, because I don't really do background designs or anything for videos usually, but maybe it might be a thing to go forward with in 2015. Coming up on the show, we're going to be talking the WWE. With the WWE Network has now got over 1 million subscribers worldwide. That's big news on the network, so that's pretty awesome. Great to see it happen, because on the second and third quarter of the network being only available in the USA and in the States, there was big annoyance over there, and there was like very bad. It might have ended as far as the network was concerned, and then with the surgence of the November, the free November that they were giving out, of course, they seemed to pick up pace. And then by the end of the fourth quarter, they got news that there was over 1 million subscribers, and that was in a big part the November free month for the network. Also in a big part, it was of course the appearance of Sting on Survivor Series, and then also the 1st of December, the Vince McMahon the Vince McMahon Stone Cold podcast was a big deal, very good for getting subscribers. And then when you think about it, the recent Royal Rumble, very controversial Royal Rumble. A lot of people signed up to the network for that Royal Rumble. Of course, it expanded worldwide at the end of the year as well as that. Of course, it has become available in Ireland and Britain, so that's a big deal as well. So it's now available worldwide, the WWE Network, with the exception of Germany and a few other countries, who are also a big market for the WWE and wrestling, as we know. But indeed, it's a big deal, and it's over 1 million. And for a niche product, which professional wrestling, sports entertainment, is a very niche product, and the followers of this great entertainment that we all know, they're very mad into the history of the product, as like myself and a lot of you watching, I'm sure. And definitely it's a niche, and there is a lot of niche things involved in wrestling, and you got to be into it to understand it and stuff. So indeed, I think it's great that it's reached over subscribers worldwide. I know that they released footage yesterday on Monday Night Raw that told there was a thing flashed up, and it said that the YouTube channel has over 5 million subscribers. So that's interesting as well. Very good. And it has more than the NFL and of course the NBA and a few other of the big Major Baseball and ice hockey YouTube channels. So that's a very big deal. A lot of people love wrestling, even if they're not hardcore fans. A lot of people tune in, I suppose, to chill out or whatever, and a bit of entertainment, a bit of comedy. But for the hardcore fans, people that follow the history of it, the WWE Network is the absolute greatest thing ever for them. But just thought I'd talk about the 1 million subscribership now of the WWE Network, a very big milestone for them. And now they're going to start pushing the 2 million, I'm sure. I don't know if that will happen, but to keep it alive, it has to happen, I suppose. But now I understand with the 1 million in 11 months after they launched the network in February last year, the end of February, they have now went to over 1 million. So that was for them to break even. So now whatever they make, they've broke even. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much it. So it sounds like the WWE Network is there to stay, which would be excellent for anybody that's big into it. Second piece of interesting news we've got to talk about, the Royal Rumble. We touched on it, but I want to talk about it in more detail. Great Royal Rumble this year, my opinion. A lot of interesting matches, a lot of filler matches as well that wouldn't really be what I would call edge of your seat or anything. But the main event, which was Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins versus John Cena, was a brilliant match. I thought it was the greatest triple threat match I've ever seen. Of course, triple threat, 3 guys against each other for the title, and whoever gets the pinfall or the submission won. Kept the title, didn't have to pin the other person, so that the champion could effectively lose the title without pinning or getting pinned. So that's interesting. The Royal Rumble, great title match, probably as good as the Cena-Lesnar matches that we had seen at SummerSlam and Night of Champions last year. Very good stuff. Very happy with that match. And you know, to get this as part of your network deal, it was really cool. You know, I really have enjoyed. Now, the interesting thing is, actually, before we talk more about the actual Royal Rumble match, the very interesting thing is, since subscribing to the WWE Network last July, I never really was into the current product beforehand. I was more into just looking back at stuff, the DVDs and that, and really just looking back at older wrestling. Since subscribing to the network, because it's there to watch the free pay-per-views and the, you know, all for the price of $9.99, the $9.99 a month, you know, you watch the stuff. You do watch it and you get into the storylines, and it really is great for the current product, even though you may be signing up for the history and nostalgia of wrestling. You actually, without even trying to, you get into the current stuff. And I think that might be the inside plan for WWE. I think with a lot of the subscribers, probably the majority of the subscribers are current fans anyway, but even I think it's getting the nostalgic fans interested in the current product, which is a very interesting marketing plan and something that was genius, I suppose, to do that. Also, as I mentioned, the Royal Rumble match itself, definitely worth a look. Of course, if you've watched it once on the network, once something is on the WWE Network live, it's there on demand along with all the rest of the video on demand content. I believe nearly 3,000 hours of content now available to watch on the network at any time, which is amazing. Much like Netflix and YouTube, whatever. But the actual Royal Rumble was okay. A lot of interesting moments, a lot of funny moments. Kofi Kingston getting the rosebud and all, getting all of Adam Rose's little group of buddies to carry him around the ring when he got eliminated. They caught him and they brought him around to the other side of the ring and let him into the ring again, which was funny. He did the floor, but he always does something. Kingston always seems to do some of them, as they call them in the business, spots. You know, if you're going to do a spot here now where something funny happens or whatever, very funny. And then other interesting Rumble, of course, at the end, everybody was expecting Roman Reigns to win it. Of course, much like Batista last year, a lot of controversy that the authority, of course, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon's storyline, the authority was to make Roman Reigns the next big thing, kind of thing, and they were all giving them the push, which was very interesting last night. Actually, just last night on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast that was live on the network, where he talked to Triple H, and they talked non-kayfabe, and that means, of course, they talked reality based and talked about everybody being so against this Roman Reigns push, and that was very interesting. Definitely a very good insight into the workings of the business. Someone like me, I would have it well researched and the way storylines were put together over the years, and I look into the history of, very much indulge in all the details of the behind the scenes and stuff over the years. But for the new fans, for the people who haven't really delved into that side of the business, I think it's a very interesting concept. Indeed, the Royal Rumble itself, though, as we go back to that, was mediocre enough. Royal Rumble, the actual match. Great comebacks from DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, Bubba Ray Dudley back for the Rumble, and the other comeback was there another comeback? Yes, indeed. At the end, Roman Reigns was about to win the Rumble, and whose music hit but The Rock. The Rock came out and helped his cousin, actually, Roman Reigns, to win the Royal Rumble. Well, he had actually won it at that stage, I think, when The Rock came out, but it was a pretty cool moment. A lot of the fans hated it because, of course, they were all looking for the Yes Movement, Daniel Bryan, to win it this year, because Daniel Bryan was screwed out of it last year, and there was a whole fiasco there. But yes, indeed, fine Royal Rumble. I enjoyed it. Great, the great pops that happened in the Rumble once. When a new guy comes out, like a return from maybe 10 years ago, like Bubba Ray Dudley, that was very fun indeed. Okay, well, that was the Royal Rumble. Talking about the Royal Rumble, and now we're going to talk about. We might as well talk about the podcasts. The Vince McMahon podcast on the 1st of December, and then last night's Triple H 2nd of February podcast. And I really enjoyed both of them. They're both available to watch on the WWE Network. Also, may add, the WWE Network now is free for the month of February, which is pretty cool. Here in Ireland, it's €12.99 per month, and in the UK, it's £9.99 per month, and in America, it's $9.99. It doesn't really work out there, but I suppose they're trying to get their money over. I think if you're paying, I've talked about all this before, but if you were paying £25 for WrestleMania, for example, or any of the other pay-per-views, normally, if you've got the WWE Network, you pay $9.99 or $12.99, and you've got everything in the library, and then the live stream, and you've got the pay-per-views every month. Amazing. But and like, for example, before I got the network, didn't keep up to date with the current product much, never paid for pay-per-views. I think the last pay-per-view I paid for before the network was WrestleMania, was probably about WrestleMania 23, maybe Survivor Series 2003, something like that. That was the reality of it. But nowadays, thanks to the WWE Network, it's available, and it's great. Okay, well, that's just talking about the podcast.